everybody. This is Aryton Mitchell, CVCS student in 7th grade, and today we have a special guest named Mark Mitchell. He was in the military, and he's also my grandfather. For questions, first question is from Daniel Pang, is Army food good?
It depends on what your palate is. I actually found it to be somewhat tasteful. There were some things that were a little weird, such as around the holidays you would have fruit cake in a can, you had scrambled eggs and some kind of meat product and things like that. Some things taste better if you were able to heat them up. But these were mainly rations that you got in the field. But when we were back at the base and not out on maneuvers, we had a full array of the typical things that you would eat in a cafeteria. So all in all, it wasn't that bad. I survived.
Another question is from Cabin Ireland. Do you have any PTSD from your time in the military?
I do not. Fortunately, I was able to manage the assignments that I had and compartmentalize things and work through some of the things that I had to do while in my military service. So I do not.
This is another question from Wes Daly. Should I join the Army?
I think military service is commendable and appropriate for anyone that wants to figure out what to do with their life. From an educational perspective, the opportunities are endless. You can attend any university at the expense of the military as you're performing your duties. They have connections with a number of campuses that you can actually physically attend, as well as take online courses to complete your degree and even go beyond to graduate and postgraduate studies. So I think the military is a great place to find yourself. Any branch of service offers the same opportunities or uniform, but I think most of all, at least in my case, I learned a lot about discipline, about respect, about honor, about integrity, and about accountability. And those are some virtues and values that you have to have in order to be successful. You have to learn how to work with a team. You have to work with people that have different beliefs and different ways of looking at life than you, because the military is comprised of people that come from all walks of life. And I enjoyed that. So I would say if a person, I guess the question is, should you join? Really depends on what you're looking for in life, but it's a good place, as I said, to go and figure it out.
Next question is from Ethan Iscara. How many years were you in the military?
Almost 7.
Next question is from Dylan Merrow. How many languages do you know?
One very well, and that's English, and a little bit of German, as I was stationed there for a couple of years.
Another question is from Gabby Tumanello. What are some challenges you faced in the Army?
One of the greatest challenges was learning about accountability and being responsible not just for myself but for other people, and understanding the importance of the role that I played in the different assignments, that role could be the determining factor as to whether or not I survived, but also the rest of my comrades in my unit. And that was a very important realization once I saw it, and it changed the way that I looked at working as a team member and being part of a unit that had to be successful at all costs.
Another question from Scarlett Steiner. How can we support veterans?
Best way to support veterans is to always be mindful of the important role that veterans have played, not just here in America with our own armed forces, but veterans all around the world that fight for freedom and lay their lives down to make sure that we have the ability to enjoy things that we often take for granted. Never forget that, because without it, you wouldn't have the opportunity to do the things that, as I said, that we all take for granted. And if you feel so inclined, look at some of the outreaches that minister to veterans, that help them to transition from their military service life back into the civilian world. It's not always as easy as one might think it is. It's sort of hard to forget and turn off certain things that you may have experienced when you are on active duty, depending on your assignment. So just be mindful of the role that they play, say thank you, and be respectful
Another question personally from mine. What was your favorite mission you had to do or favorite objective?
I can't tell you that. It was classified.
Okay. Well, folks, that's it for the Veterans Day podcast. Thanks for tuning in on this podcast. We want to spread you thanks and prayers. Goodbye.
This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening and stay tuned for more.